All right, welcome back. Now we're going to go to another superhero movie. This time we're moving from DC. We're heading over to Marvel. They had a movie come out during quarantine. They had the New Mutants finally hit theater. So let's talk about that.
What's the last thing you remember, Danny? He said we had to run.
Okay, so the New Mutants, I think I talked about it a bit last year. This movie was supposed to come out, I believe, 3 years ago. It's been delayed for so long, for various reasons, for some reshoots, and then there was the whole Fox Disney merger because this is set in the X-Men universe, which was owned by Fox. So during that merger, then this movie just kind of went up in the air. They didn't know what they wanted to do with it, and then finally, during quarantine, they decided this is the time that we should release this movie, which just overall felt weird to me. I get that they're kind of like, we have this movie, we need to do something with it. Nothing else is in theaters. Theaters are starting to open back up, so let's put this out there, and it can be the thing that people go see, which may have worked for them. I mean, I was gonna go see it regardless, but it was kind of like, oh, okay, theaters are open. I do want to go. And by the way, I think theaters are doing very well with their protocols. When we sat in there, we had nobody near us, kept our masks on during the movie, which some people might not like. I understand that. But as far as some things that I've seen reopen and the theater, I think the theater is doing a very good job at following protocol and making it a safe place. There still aren't that many movies being released, so it might not be a big draw yet for people to go back to the theaters, but it was nice to just kind of finally have that experience again. But anyway, back to the New Mutants. So yeah, I thought it was a weird decision because in my mind, what I was thinking was they should just release this as they did some other films, that Disney should just release this onto Disney Plus, onto streaming services. People can pay a little extra because it is a new release, and they can get it out that way. This movie's been delayed for so long, I don't think there would have been a problem with just giving it a home release. But for some reason, they still wanted to put it in theaters, and they still decided to release it during quarantine, which is very weird. But, whatever. Their decision doesn't make sense to me, but they probably had some reason behind it. Now, all that being said, if you are going to finally go out in public and see a movie, this is not the one. This is just not a very good film. This was clearly made back when Fox still owned the rights and they didn't quite know what they wanted to do with the franchise. It was evident in the last few X-Men movies that they were kind of lost. They were kind of stuck doing the same thing. And this is just even more of that this it didn't really have a vision. They wanted to mix things up. They said that this movie was going to be a superhero movie, but it was going to be a horror movie. There really weren't that many horror elements. And especially what the main story is in it is it lends itself so well to be a good horror and a good intimate horror with just some superpowers in there. But they didn't. They felt like they kind of wanted to go there, but then they just went in the superhero direction again. And the small superhero, not low budget, but not big extravagant Avengers Endgame style budget, obviously. And it felt messy and it just didn't hit where I think it wanted to.
The reason you survived is because you're a very uncommon girl. You're not alone. Not anymore. Do you know what mutants are?
I don't want to spoil anything, but a big part of what the story is basically your fears, the character's fears coming to life or kind of manifesting themselves in some way. And, obviously with something like that, the horror elements could have been huge. This could have been a terrifying movie. It also takes place in kind of a mental asylum. Not really, it's more of a recovery center type thing, but just it is a hospital atmosphere and asylum sort of feel. So they could have worked with that. There's just so many things that they could have done that they just didn't. And it's just a lot of missed opportunities, which is hard to watch. Another thing Just the story in general, like the ending didn't really make sense. It just kind of, when it happened and the movie ended, it was just, the people I was with, we were all kind of like, oh, uh, okay, that's over, I guess. It just didn't. Another thing that just didn't quite hit is the story just wasn't there. And again, the whole time, it just felt like they didn't really know what they wanted to do with it. There were maybe many opinions, many ideas going into this film, and it was just becoming a mismatch of different things. And that never really works if you don't have one vision that you're sticking to. And I think that is really evident in this.
I was 13. I thought it was a dream. I just lost control.
Sam?
I started panicking. People got hurt.
Roberto?
My girlfriend had burned her.
Ileana?
I killed 18 men, one by one.
The acting in this is not great at all. But I don't know how much is the actors and how much is the writing. I know there were a lot of rewrites. I don't know what part of the scripts were rewrites and what were original. A lot of the dialogue seems forced. It seems kind of uninspired. So there's not much that the actors could have done with it. And there were some actors in there that I normally really do enjoy. And I just feel like they were doing their best and they can't be faulted that much. But for me to not enjoy their performances when I normally do, that's saying something. And there are a couple unknown actors, which unfortunately now I can't really have an opinion on. This is all I have to go off of with them. And so, to me, they're not good actors. But I will give them a little leeway, given that there are performers that I do like in this that just weren't. They also weren't performing to their normal level. So I think just overall, this movie is just so many missed opportunities. I think that would be my biggest, how could I most shortly describe the faults of this movie is just missed opportunities in so many ways. So this one, the theater may be a scary place to go to still. And if you're thinking of doing it to see this movie, I would say don't. Don't go to theaters to see this. Wait till this comes out. It will, I'm sure, inevitably hit Disney Plus. So check it out there when it's free, or like the Disney Plus subscription price to you. It's not worth going out in public, risking it, and spending that money to go see this film. I would not recommend it at all for superhero lovers or for horror lovers. It never really hits either. So I cannot recommend this movie. I don't think it's so bad to the point of even when it comes out on streaming, you shouldn't check it out. Sure, absolutely. When it's out there, watch it. But I just don't spend your money. Don't spend extra money to go see this film. I don't think it's worth it.
We can get out of this together.
And that is all the time we have for today. Thank you for coming back to Trailer Park for Season 2. I'm very excited to be here. Have some great ideas for this season. Some things I am very excited to share with you. And I want to thank, of course, my sponsors. I want to thank one of my new sponsors this season, Coach Ainsley. She has been working with me, personal training, and with a meal plan, a personalized workout plan. And just getting me in shape, because I'm on TV. I watched myself last season. I was like, oh, no, thank you. So I'm here now, working on that. I've only been with her for a month, but I've lost 10 pounds, 4 inches. It feels great. So thank you to her. And of course, to all my other sponsors. Thank you to Eastlink for having me back. And that's it. So until next time, everybody, I will see you around. Bye.